Cut it.
Hello and welcome to the NZ Ahead podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today you are going to hear an interview. Not only are you going to hear an interview with a professional, Angie, who you're about to hear, is a professional real estate person.
Agent.
Yeah, agent, that's the word I was looking
Yes.
for, thank you. But she's also my friend. So You're going to hear a conversation between two old friends, one of them who is old and does a podcast with her husband, and the other one who's got a proper job and sells houses for a living.
I know. We've knocked at real estate agents over the years, haven't we? A little
Well,
bit.
this is the embarrassing thing, you see,
Yeah.
because anyone who has listened to this show
Yeah.
will know full well that I mouth off quite often about the fact that I think real estate agents are just a big rip-off and how...
Don't do a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I saw Ange and thinking, oh, she'd never listened to my podcast. Why would she bother listening to my podcast? And, well, you'll hear it in the interview. Because I have to confess, because I feel so guilty in the middle of the interview. I just feel like such a fraud. And I just end up blurting it out and confessing. And you have to listen to the episode to hear what she said when I confessed. But yeah, that was another story. So we hope you enjoy this interview. Don't forget, if you haven't yet taken our free 5-day video guide, where we share some aspect of life in New Zealand. They are 5 days of videos. They are short. They are relaxing. They're beautiful, homemade by me and Brian. You can get those by going to...
www.nzahead.com/free. nzahead.com/free.
Yes. And when you get to day 5 of those videos, you will be given information on how you can join our very famous and very fabulous. I say famous because, well, it's famous in our house, isn't it?
It's always everything's famous in our house. Yeah.
You can get the video. I feel a bit giddy today. You can get membership to our free 5-day video guide. No, you can get membership to our community.
After day 5 of
After
the
day
video.
5,
It's
that's
not
all
hard,
I needed
Liz.
to say.
It's not hard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So take the video guide. If you want to be part of our membership and come and join me and Brian, the nutters who can't remember anything and who constantly talk behind their friends' back and say that real estate is rubbish, then come and join the community. We'd love to have you. But for now, you are going to love this interview with Angie. She talks all about what to look for when you're selling a house and when you're buying a house in New Zealand. So sit back and enjoy.
Cut it.
Welcome to the NZ Ahead podcast. Everything you need to know about moving to and living in New Zealand.
There's a whole world here.
So nice to be with you again.
We call it Aotearoa around here, bro.
You'll be right.
We are your hosts, Liz and Brian.
Amazing New Zealand in the southern seas.
See, that's where I belong. That's home.
So Angie, welcome to the podcast. Thrilled to have you with me.
Oh, thanks, Lizzie. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Do you know, me and Angie are very, very old friends. We've known each other since we moved to, she moved to New Zealand earlier than I did. We're going to talk about that now. And I cannot believe we've not done a podcast together since now.
I know. I've taken it personally.
Have you?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's all in the timing.
So, Ange, we're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about buying and selling houses. That's your business. But before we do that, why don't you just tell people your story? How come you're in New Zealand? Why did you move to New Zealand?
Yeah, because we've all got a story while we're here.
Yeah.
Mostly, you're running away from the law or something, but mine was quite boring. My husband had finished 22, 23 years in the Royal Navy in the UK. And we had an amazing opportunity to come to New Zealand where he was going to join the New Zealand Defence Force. It was backed up by an experience my brother and my sister-in-law had the year prior. And they came home with so much energy and excitement about their new lives in New Zealand that the curiosity was too much for us. And we came over for a look-see.
Yeah.
And the deal was done. It was a no-brainer, Lizzie. You know what it's like. You walk and it just hits you that this is a lifestyle that you want to embrace and go forward with. Yeah.
And you had your little girl as well, who was the same age as Tess, my daughter.
When we came over, Olivia was only 3 and Tori was 16, 17. So she had her final years in a lovely school in Devonport, Takapuna Grammar School. So she finished school here. tough for a teenager.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's a hard time to come over that, isn't it?
Yep, she'd finished her GCSEs in the UK. So she did her seniors here and then went on to university. And Olivia and Tess, growing up together, little munchkins. That was probably how we met at school when kids first started school.
You know, I'll never forget. We were playing tennis. I mean, I can't even believe I was playing tennis.
No,
what was
same.
I doing playing tennis?
I think it was compulsory that you couldn't play tennis to play on the tennis.
Yeah. So we met on the tennis team, didn't we?
Yep.
And I remember you saying to me, "Are you the mum of the little girl that was crying in the classroom?" And I said, "Yeah." And you said, "Just to let you know, she stopped the minute you walked out the door." And I knew we were going to be friends then.
Yeah,
I knew it. I was
Yeah.
just like, you're just on the same level as me. We've got the same sort of sense of humour.
Yeah.
It was just, it was gorgeous.
It was. And we haven't looked back really,
I
have
know, we haven't. And you've been a really good friend and a good friend of my family. And like I say, our girls grew up together.
Yeah.
And
it's all new layers. I think that's the thing that people sometimes forget when you do come to New Zealand. You are walking away from all the layers, the history, and
true.
you recreate history, you recreate memories, you recreate layers with new friends, new family, and you have adopted families.
yeah, you do. It's so true.
Yeah.
So you came out here, your brother was already out here.
Yes.
So that made it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Same as me, I had my sister. It does
Yeah.
make it a little bit easier.
It does, knowing there's somebody.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you about how you got into real estate.
By accident. I'd come over. The plan was Olivia was only 3. I was going to be a stay-at-home for a while because I'd always been a working mum. It became quite apparent to me that I'm not meant to be a stay-at-home mum, so I got a job in banking.
Yeah, you worked at ASB when I first met you. Yeah,
I was working at the bank, and then we bought a property here in Awakura, and the lady that sold me the house said, "You'd be great at real estate."
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I said, "You got to be kidding." She said, "No." She said, "Look, you can do this." And I said, "Well, I'm not qualified." She said, "Look, you can get qualified." She said, "But what you can't teach is what you've got." She said, "So I can get you qualified. I can pay for you to get your papers done." And she said, "But what you've got is what I can see would be amazing for my business." So it was one of those serendipitous times that the planets aligned and it went, okay. And that was 14 years ago this year.
So how do you become a real estate agent? What do you have to do?
Lose your mind. No, only joking. It's a complete nutter. So it's a qualification, it's a profession here in New Zealand. And I think if you're up with the education system, it's an NCEA level 4.
Right, okay.
You start at as a sales person. And that's a ongoing course of paperwork, practical theory, learning. Because the one thing that people don't realise, I think, when you get a real estate agent, especially coming from the UK, because it's so different, is that we are audited, we are overseen, we are regulated to a very high degree. So the profession is quite stringent in what their expectation of you and your understanding of what you are doing.
Right.
You almost need to be a paralegal. You need to be a builder. You need to be a surveyor. You need to be a social worker. So leading up to that, you need to learn things about cladding, about title, about land and information of New Zealand. You need to learn about land information memorandums. You need to learn about what is considered a bedroom. You need to learn how to prepare legal documents, which is most of the work that's done in the UK by lawyers, conveyancers.
Yes, yeah.
A lot of the conveyancing is prepared by real estate agents and then given as a contract signed deal to the lawyers who then enforce the conditions and the terms before settlement.
Right, okay. So there is a lot more to it than turning up and showing someone around the house. Sorry, Ange. Sorry, Ange. To take everything back that I've said about you, how easy you
Bloody real estate agents.
No, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, it's and we can be held accountable. So your public liability insurance is really important, especially if you're employing people. You need to make sure that you are managing their training, their ongoing education, because obviously it's only relevant as of today.
Yeah.
We only know what we know today, but it's our job to know what the lay person doesn't know. So if I was showing you a house, or if I was talking to a vendor or a seller, I would want to be knowing what kind of, is it piles? Is that wooden piles? Is that concrete piles?
Yeah.
Is it on a concrete foundation? What's the cladding? Is that plaster overboard? Has it got a cavity? Are we talking eaves? Are we talking dechromatic roof? Are we talking long run roof? Is it GI? And you need to know whether it's zinc aluminium, double glazed. And that's just the immediate information.
Right.
Then you need to find out, is there something wrong with your title? Is my garage on next door neighbour's land? We need to check that out. Is it a cross lease? Is it a unit title? Is there a body corp? All these different things we need to know, understand, and be able to translate to a lay person so that they can make educated choices in one of the biggest decisions of their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're talking a lot of money. Houses are expensive in New Zealand.
Yeah, definitely. And I should have mentioned as well that back in the UK, you worked in law, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in the law for... so I think my level of understanding, I was probably more fortuitous than a lot coming into real estate. I had a legal background and worked at the bank for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So having that industry knowledge... is my point of difference probably compared to a lot of, and also my expectation of myself. I have a very high expectation of what I want to sort of produce for my clients.
Yeah.
If I'm selling, what product am I selling for them? What service am I giving them? And how am I treating my buyers?
Yeah. And that's what that lady will have seen in you. She'll have seen your personality for a start. You're really I know you don't take compliments well. I should have told everyone this. This woman does not take compliments. But listen to me. I'm telling you, your personality is people warm to you. You've got the sort of personality that people trust and warm to you. And not only that, so now if you combine that with real proper knowledge, like grown up proper knowledge about them,
stuff.
Yeah. It's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think I am, over the years, my business mostly comes from either repeat business or referrals, which is lovely. But I think it's all about treating people how you would like to be treated. And I also think if I'm dealing with somebody that's in their 70s or 80s, I think, how would I want my mum and dad to be treated? If I was I love it when youngsters are coming onto the market, in their 20s or 30s, buying their first home, making sure that I give them as many tools as I possibly can, to keep them enthused about what they're doing, because it can feel very overwhelming.
Yeah, it's massive.
They're dealing with banks, they're dealing with lawyers. It may be the first time that they've ever spoken to a lawyer in their lives. And understanding the process. How do I go about making an offer? What happens if my offer's accepted? What happens then? What do I have to do? Who does this? And making sure that you're holding their hand right up until you hand them the keys and wish them the very best in their next chapter.
Yeah.
So I think it's about treating people how you and yours would like to be treated, and the respect that goes with that.
That's so true. It's so true. Before I ask you, because I've got a ton of questions about buying and selling houses, we've only ever bought this, and we bought the land and we built this house. So
I remember. It was a hill.
Yes, exactly. I know.
So you're buying a hill. Yeah, we're going to chop the top off.
Yeah.
Good plan.
So I've got lots of questions, especially from the people in our community that are coming over here buying houses that want to know about what it's like. But before I do that, you said something earlier about you need to know what a bedroom is. Tell me what. How do I know what a bedroom is?
So years ago, and we're finding case law is coming up now. So these are actions that are actually going through the courts. So it's worth making sure you are asking the questions. And I think this is it, educating people so they know what questions to ask, because we don't know. When I came over, even with my legal background, having passed my conveyancing exam, it's very different. And I'm sure it's different to the UK than it is to the US as it is to Aussie. I didn't know what things to ask.
No.
So nowadays it's things like, well, in the advertising it says it's a four bedroom.
Yeah.
You want to check with the council to make sure that that conservatory that's been changed into a 4th bedroom has been legally changed to a 4th bedroom.
Right.
Bedrooms have to be a certain size per ratio to light for window.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's size implications on bedrooms to windows. And then there's interpretation of, well, if it's a window going out to an enclosed conservatory, is that natural light? You know, there's all sorts of...
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you go, oh, that's great, I don't mind if it's only, you know, they've advertised it as 4 bedrooms, but legally it's only 3 bedrooms. Well, that's fine right up until you sell it.
True. Yeah.
So that may have a price implication. That may be something you can negotiate on the top.
Yeah.
You know, well, you know, you're asking X amount. It's actually a 3 bedroom plus an extra room that can be used as an office or a bedroom if people wanted to. But, you know, but that's a price negotiation point.
So then you can knock the price down and...
Negotiate.
Yeah.
Because a 4 bedroom house compared to a 3 bedroom house, there's a price difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, I can't stand it when you go to an Airbnb. You know when they say in an Airbnb, oh, sleeps 4, and you get there,
It's one
like
bedroom.
one cupboard.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Tusk can go in that.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly,
And it's like
yeah.
pull down bed, and then the other one's a couch, and you just think, cheeky sods, aren't they?
Exactly. And they only show one picture of one bedroom.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Right, okay, so back to the real estate.
Yes.
So before we move on to that, I just want to say your story. So you get qualified.
Yes.
And what happens then? Who do you go and what?
Well, you find a mentor. I was fortunate enough that the lady that employed me to work with her was a very highly successful real estate agent.
Right.
She was probably the #1 agent in Owakura and New Plymouth for quite a long time. I don't think she had much competition. Every now and then she may have been pushed off her post, but she was very successful. So with my background and her drive and her knowledge, I learnt fast. And I learnt lots of skills. Now, it isn't that you have to mimic. You take and you make it your own, because obviously this lady's personality wasn't my personality, and how she would deliver things isn't how I would deliver things. So you learn and you start. It's like a tradie doing your apprenticeship.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you can't go solo for 6 months on your own anyway. You have to have your hand held by a senior member of staff when you're dealing with things like contracts and listing agreements and, you know, doing appraisals, having somebody overseeing you. But it became quite clear after 12 months that it was something that I was so passionate about. And whilst I was really enjoying working with her, I really felt the need that I needed to stand on my own 2 feet and just be Angie, you know, not associate or, you know, I wanted my my name to represent the work that I did.
Yeah.
And to gain my reputation and to build my client base on that. Yeah. But it takes, you know, it's not, you can't just go in and go, oh yeah, you just fill out this form, you fill out that form. The law changes everything based on decisions that are being made today. So there's things that I was doing 14 years ago that I wouldn't dream of doing now.
Like what?
Well, just the way things are done. Things like, listing agreements. When I come, you know, we're going to list this house. As they look, yeah, it's a couple of pages. We'll just go through this. I need to sign here. Now the forms are probably something like 10, 12 pages long.
Right.
And we have to have really strong conversations about disclosure obligations, about your vendor warranties. You know, as a vendor, you're selling this house warrantying that everything is in perfect working order, that you have a key for every external door, that every window opens and shuts and locks, that there haven't been any leaks, that the next door neighbours aren't boiling meth, you know, that there hasn't been a suicide in the garage, that the oven works, that there's an extractor fan in the bathroom, that you haven't had any leaking because the roof's looking a bit dodgy. You know, that we have to have very frank and open conversations about the disclosure obligation.
Is that what that means? When you disclose them, you have to tell the truth about everything?
Yeah. So years ago, people didn't.
Oh my God, no.
No.
I've sold so many hats. Oh, just paper over that massive crack.
No, that comes back to bite you now. So
Yeah.
if somebody buys your house and within the first week, drip, 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 ooh, you'll be getting an email from your lawyer.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And there's things...
I'm never selling this place. Not to Bryanston all the way.
But there's things like products, you know, asbestos. A lot of properties that were built in a certain time frame in New Zealand had a asbestos cladding. Now, you know, in the UK, asbestos was a banned and stigmatised material that, you know, dock workers used to put it in their lunch bags, nick it from work and take it home and lag their pipes in the UK. Surprise, surprise. They've worked with it all day and it's in their property. Asbestosis, or pleural plaque if it doesn't get as far as asbestosis. Here, it's actually a material that's on people's houses in like a cement-based product. Now, if it's encapsulated, which means that if it's completely sealed and not broken, so none of the fibrous material can escape, it's deemed of not any serious consequence. But again, you know, it's still something you have to disclose.
Right.
You know, if somebody comes to an open home and says, oh, so interested in this property, we absolutely love it. Okay, well, we need to go over just a couple of disclosures with you. You know, just so you're aware, if you weren't aware before, this property was built in 19 blah, blah, blah. We believe the cladding may have asbestos in it. You will need to seek professional or expertise advice as to what that means to you and how that you feel about that going forward. And again, those kind of issues will have a price point.
Yeah.
For somebody, it's not a problem. For other people, go, well, we might want to reclad. So you have to know about these things.
So if I'm selling a dodgy, I'm going to make myself sound so dodgy now, but I'm just so interested.
Yes,
But say I'm selling a dodgy house, not dodgy, but say like, you know, I know that there's a leak behind the fridge that just stinks of damp. And I say to you, look, there's this really bad leak, but can we just keep it quick? Just don't mention it.
So this is where integrity comes in. And integrity to me is everything. If you haven't got your own name, you haven't got anything. A little lodger there.
Yeah.
So I would have to say, look, Lizzie, these are my obligations. As an expert in the field, this is my advice to you. You're only going to be doing yourself a disservice if we don't disclose this, because if somebody finds out at a later date, A, they're going to distrust us and they're going to think what else is wrong.
Yeah, true.
And you may lose them. But not only that, if you don't take my advice to disclose it, I'll have to walk away from this deal because I cannot put my name to a contract that I legally know something is I need to disclose,
Right.
and you're asking me not to disclose it. I have to walk away.
And you're a liar and I don't want to be your friend anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're dodgier than I thought you were.
So when you said earlier, I've got to be a social worker, I've got to be this, I've got... Quite right, you have.
So you think most times it's not just a case of Lizzie and Brian selling up to go over to Napier. Sometimes it's Bob and Mildred are getting divorced. So it's very emotional. Sometimes it's Pauline who's lost her mum.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, it's a case that Job's taken him overseas and he wants to go, she doesn't. It can be a myriad of things. Sometimes it's an old lady that's now been widowed and she's having to sell the family home that they've had for 30 years because she can't maintain it without hubby. And the family are saying, Mum, now it's time.
Yeah.
And then she's losing her independence. So you become I become very close with my vendors very quickly. It's like we have this immediate honeymoon because, well, we know each other so quickly. Because if I say, can I bring a buyer through on Tuesday? Oh, yeah, that's fine because I'm off to the doctor's. Oh, I hope everything's okay. Oh, yeah, I've just my sore knee. Okay, so, I won't be there on Thursday. I'm taking the girls to ballet. Oh, yeah, we're away for the weekend. We've got a wedding celebration for my eldest son. So you get to know family, activities, and you learn to respect that, and you understand their time frames so that you can, newborn babies, oh, when's baby's sleeping time? I'll make a note that I'm not going to bother you during that time. So it's just being considerate and thoughtful and getting involved in their lives. We've all got skin in the game.
Yeah.
I want to do and be the very best agent that you came to me to be, but I want you to have not only the best service but the best outcome.
Yeah.
So it's not a case of, well, for me, it's not a case of just doing a quick deal, getting it sold. Yeah, it will sell, blah, bing, bang, bosh, next. It's about this one matters. This one matters. Next one, this one matters. Because wanting to do your very best each time is why you get good, because it matters.
I was going to say, because you said something earlier about the lady that you first started training with, and you said she was top in New Plymouth, and there's not many people knocked off her perch. This is the completely different thing to the UK, isn't it? In the UK, estate agents there's no individual estate agent. That's what I really noticed when I came here, was real estate agents have their picture on the board.
Yeah.
And I was really shocked about that at first. I was like, why have they got their picture on the board?
Because it's our business.
Yeah.
So we're self-employed, we're contractors to the umbrella under which we sit.
Right.
So the firm I work for is Smith Bishop.
Right.
And I'm Angie, working under the auspices of Smith Bishop.
Smith Bishop, right, okay.
So, but I'm Angie, working for Angie. And it's my business. So you're promoting yourself, your expertise, because obviously you want people to know who you are so that when they come to make a choice, oh, come on, Bob, we've got that job now. Let's sell the house and bugger on off.
Yeah.
It's, well, who are we going to use? Oh, who was that picture of that girl? She's everywhere. She's selling, and she's, Tim was talking about her in the pub the other night. Oh, that's Angie. So, because not everybody knows a real estate agent, although Taranaki is a very small place and most people do know a real estate agent, people make choices for very different reasons. Some people make choices because they've known this person since they went to school. But interestingly, even though I'm not a local, even though I've been in here 18 years, still not a local, it's like Cornwall. Yeah.
You'll never
be a local.
No. You'll always be an Emmett.
Yeah, exactly. Bloody Emmett. What I find now is that people investigate me, they'll research me, they'll Google me, they'll check out my bio, they'll see what I've done in the past, they'll check out, they'll come to my open homes, they'll interview me without me knowing, which is fine because, I treat everybody the same. Open homes are a very important place for me.
Yeah.
So, but people will come along to an open home and I'll call them up afterwards to say, thank you so much for coming through the open home. It's lovely to have met you. Was there any further interest? Can I help you with any questions? And they'll say, actually, Angie, we didn't come to look at the property, we came to look at you.
Chick, isn't it?
I know.
Check you out.
Check me out.
Yeah.
How I conduct myself, how I follow up an open home.
That's a good idea. That is a good idea. Because if you're thinking of using an agent and you're not sure, that is a good idea. Because they're never going to be disappointed with you. Never.
As long as I put the bottle of wine away now.
Show up sober, Angie.
Oh, just a sherry. Just the one, Mrs. Wembley. Because I've had clients come to me and say,
you are here because you love New Zealand, just like me and Brian. And me and Brian made it our reality of moving over here. We arrived in New Zealand in 2009 with 2 small children, and I tell you what, hardly any information to our name. We came over here with no resources, no contacts, we knew nothing. One night while we were sitting around the fire when we got to New Zealand, we said, wouldn't it be great if we made something for other people in the same situation as us that gave them everything they needed to know about moving to New Zealand? And that's just what we did. We started a community of people, of like-minded adventurers from all over the world who are making their dream of moving to New Zealand a reality. This community is made up of 400 beautiful souls, each one bringing their own story, their own needs, their own information to our community. And I just love it. I tell you, it's just the best community in the whole wide world. If you would like to be part of that community or get to know more about it, then you can take our free 5-day video guide that we offer. This is a video guide that Brian and I created, showing you some aspect of life in New Zealand every single day. There is nothing like this on the internet. You won't find it anywhere else. It's brilliant and it's unique and it's free. So sign up to those 5-day video guides, and on day 5, I'll give you more information about how you can join our beautiful New Zealand community. Sign up now by going to www.nzahead.com/free. That's www.nzahead.com/free. Get to day 5, see all about our community, and I hope to see you on the other side. Okay, let's get back to the show.
You know, because I've had clients come to me and say, we were going to use eggs, but we went to our open home and she practically ignored us and was flirting with the men in the corner.
Right. Yeah.
Or, we went, there was no information. Every time we asked a question, we were told, I'm not sure. And it's our job to know. On the rare occasion, I'm not saying I will always have the answers, because you never know what the question's going to be. There might be the odd curveball question, especially when it's a new listing and you haven't maybe retained, especially at my age, haven't retained all the information verbatim. You should know the size. It's 999 square metre section. The house is 222 square metres. Yes, we have got insulation in the ceiling and in the walls. We're on a concrete pile, so we don't need it there. No, it's definitely gas mains. And yeah, we have infinity hot water. You know, you have to be able to, be able to answer people so they, don't think you're an idiot, but also that they trust that you are with them in this journey.
Yes.
Because whilst we have a fiducial relationship with our sellers, which is the highest level of how the mutual relationship with your sellers, but we also have a standard of care for our buyers. Whilst we're working for our vendors...
I was going to ask that question. Who do you work for?
So it's interesting because I think in the States and in Aussie, I think they have buyers agents as well as sellers agents. Here, although I think in Rotorua or Taupo, they have buyers agents or sellers agents. But predominantly in New Zealand, you're both. You are that double-sided coin.
Okay.
But the level of relationship is highest with your vendor, but you have a duty of care to your buyer. You can't go, let's not tell them. I'm not going to do that for you. Your relationship is still very important with your buyer, which is why the whole openness, the disclosure, and the communication has to be it just has to be fulfilled to a level that you are informing both sides and educating both sides to where you are at and where you're going with it.
So say you're selling my house for me. And me and you have a really good relationship. I've told you about the crack. I've been really open.
That dodgy pipe.
I've told you about all the dodgy stuff that we've got going on. And me and you have got a really good relationship. And I trust you and I want you to sell my home for me. And then someone comes to look around my house and you and them just click. And you get on really, really well with them. And they say, Angie, is there any way that, we've only got, 500,000. Is there any way you can get them to come down 50 grand? Because then we'd buy... How would that work? Who would you be?
So that's never actually happened.
Has it not?
No. But I mean, people talk about negotiate. You know, people will. I mean, because obviously it's our job to be able to negotiate, which is interesting because a lot of agents don't know how to. To say a lot, that's very generic, and I apologise to the generic form of real estate agents. But a lot of people are intimidated by negotiations because obviously my background. That's not a problem for me. My job is to get the best price. So if you were that person I was showing you around and saying, oh, Angie, you know, it's really not in our price range. We'd like to get, you know, our budget's only here. And I would say, look, I wouldn't want to waste your time. But that said, it's also my job to take all offers to a vendor. It's not my choice to decide who puts what offer in. So if they say, look, we don't see value at X amount, we only see it just below X amount, you know, and I can say, well, look, you know, the vendors have indicated that's not where they're considering in this market. However, if that's your offer, I'm obliged to put it on paper. And then when I present it to you, my relationship with you is, look, Sarah and Dave have put forward this offer. I think this is their best offer simply based on what they've told me they can afford. It's below our expectation. We're only 2 weeks into our marketing campaign. I don't think you really need to consider it at this stage. There's nothing. And then it comes down to, well, what else is happening, Ange? Well, look, we had 3 people to the open home on Sunday. There seemed to be at least one person interested. Why don't I go back and have another chat with them to see if they're ready to commit to come forward? Because they may actually be the ones that are going to offer you the price that we want. So we can go back and say, thank you so much for this lower offer, but we're actually proceeding with something else. And then they can decide to go and rob a bank or talk nicely to the bank manager and be in the game. But it's not my choice. I don't choose the buyers on what level they come in at.
Right.
It's my job to bring you all offers. And sometimes we're the meat and the sandwich, especially you can imagine with good old Taranaki farmers, sometimes they're quite robust and they're like, I don't want to see any crap. Don't bring me any crap. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Legally, we're obliged to get everything in writing. Sometimes people will say, I don't want to put it in writing. Just give them a phone call, ask him if he'll take it. We follow instructions. And it's always the vendor's decision. The vendor will seek our advice, but it's the vendor's decision. It's not my decision.
Right.
A lot of vendors will say, oh, what are the buyers like? And say, oh, look, they're a young couple. It's their first home. They've got a baby on the way. And most people go, oh, we'd love it to go to another family. Other people, it's like, who's going to give me the best price? Very practical.
That'd be me.
Yeah, same.
I want biggest money.
Yeah, exactly. But some people are, I mean, I've had clients with huge hearts where, you know, we've had multi-offers on the table and they've sort of said, I know these guys are offering us 50 grand more, but we want this young couple to have a start.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And it's like, wow, paying it forward.
And do you know what, Ange? That's what kind of happened. Well, it is, I think, what happened here when we bought this land.
Yeah.
Because I went down to the agent in the village, literally crying, saying, oh, me and Brian love this land so much. You know, we've come over from the UK.
So your acting skills came in well then? Camera left.
Yeah, shut up. And I said, oh no, I told her the truth. I said, we were up there last night. I thought, yeah, she's thought you, but so we were up there last night. We were just looking at the stars and we were. I wasn't lying.
I know.
You know,
I
said, I do, yeah. And she said, oh, and she went and told the owner, and the owner said, I want them to have it. Yeah.
It does matter.
And then he made us keep moving his cows to pay him back.
Payback.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's true.
It's
what happened post-COVID, when the market here in New Zealand went absolutely crazy, nearly every property was being sold under multi-offer. So multi-offer, for those that don't understand, is when you are competing. You are in competition with other buyers to secure one property. So all offers are presented at the same time. And you are told, put your best offer forward. You may not get a second bite at the cherry. Remember that, because that is important. Because I've had that conversation with clients. Look, they may not come back and negotiate. They may go and work with somebody else and not choose your offer. There may be a better offer.
Yeah.
Give me your best offer. And they don't.
Yeah.
And then they find out that it went for 5 grand more than what their offer was. And they say, but I would have paid that. then why wasn't that your offer?
Yeah. But Ange, on the other side of that, why can't you say, look, because I was just thinking about when we bought houses in the UK, I remember an agent saying to me, they'll take 200.
Yeah, well, she wasn't working for the vendor, was she?
No. What, was she working for me?
No, she was working for herself. She wanted a sale.
Oh, okay, right. So she just wanted the sale.
She wasn't a good agent.
Right, okay. All right.
Not a good agent.
Not everyone I associate with is like that. Okay, all right then. So next question. So why then?
Who was she serving?
I don't know. She just
So
said to us.
if you said to me, you know, like, so sometimes I've got deals together for a client, and they said, oh well, we could accept that, we could make it work, and I went, no. This isn't at the level that I would recommend you selling.
Yeah.
Let me make a phone call.
Right.
And I've gone what they call the extra mile. Look, you know, they really like your offer. They want you to have the property, but it is a little bit like where they really want to settle.
Yeah.
You know, I need you to dig deeper in your pockets. Can I get you to X? You know, how close to X can I get you? You know, is there a compromise? They want up here, you're here, can I get you to here?
Yeah.
How much more can I get you? Because these guys really want you to have it. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, you know,
they'll take 200.
they'll take
Yeah,
200.
yeah.
Because that's just serving me.
Okay. All
And
right
do you know
then.
what? When they come to sell, they're not going to use me,
Oh, that's true.
because I was the agent that told the buyer to come in low because they'll
Yeah,
take it.
True. Yeah.
So, you know, my reputation's built on integrity and doing the best that I can. I mean, it helps that I'm slightly competitive, so doing the extra negotiations is second nature to me. But, you know, but you see, there's the agent you're talking about is the agent that will say, Lizzie, I know that you're looking at 3 other agents to sell your property, but look, if you choose me, I'll really cut my commission and I'll throw in some cheap marketing.
Right.
So that to me is the biggest red flag any seller should look at.
Okay.
Because if they're so desperate for your business, they're having to buy it by cutting their own worth. They can't negotiate their worth, they're cutting it. How hard are they going to work for you?
Yeah.
And if they're throwing in stuff, how much are they valuing the job that they're doing? What level of service are you going to expect? My gran, as probably yours did, you always get what you pay for, right? Sometimes it's okay to buy the cheap shoes because you only wanted it for that one night out. And if the heel falls off afterwards, you're not bothered. But when you're selling a house, you want a Louis Vuitton. You don't want...
Yeah.
You don't want a jandal.
No.
You know, the desperation in those agents, but people unfortunately see the dollar and they go, oh yeah, this is going to save me 10 grand. Oh, it's going to save me 20 grand. But what they're not seeing is it's probably costing them 40,
Yeah.
because they'll bring you the cheap offers and they won't negotiate.
Yeah.
So you're losing. You think you're winning,
Yeah.
but you're losing.
Yeah. It's like you say, they won't go that extra mile for you. And
Oh, look, they'll take 200.
yeah, I know.
There you go.
Mind you, it worked.
So in the UK, it is very different, and the law is very different. So in the UK, also the agency fees in the UK, I think it's like 1% or 1.5%.
And what is it here?
4% up to generally thereabouts, 4% up to the first 350,000 and 2.5% thereafter.
Right.
So, you know, there's some serious coin. But obviously what a lot of people don't know is at the beginning of most agents' career, 50% of that goes to the boss, goes to the umbrella.
Yeah.
Then your tax and your GST.
Yeah.
Then your expenses, you know, your fuel and all that, any, you know, any additionals that you've had to bring in. But in the UK, I remember I sold my houses, as probably you did.
Yeah.
I'd get a phone call saying, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith want to come around tomorrow. They'll be there at 2. Oh, okay, I'll be there. And I
You
showed them around.
didn't you? Yeah.
What did they actually do?
Nothing. They didn't do anything.
They put a flyer in the window.
Yeah. I know. But is that because their percentage is lower, so they're not working as hard, or it's not valued as highly?
Yeah, but also don't forget, come back to the beginning of conversation. we also do the paralegal stuff.
Yes.
So they get the names and the offer and send it to the lawyers or to the conveyancers who do all the work.
Yeah.
So they're just basically an introduction.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more to it. I'm sure they must do more to it. They'll do follow-up phone calls and all those kind of things. But I think, whereas we are very much hands-on from everything. I mean, as soon as I get a listing, I would have already got your title. And if there was interest on title, which means it could be an easement, I need to know where the easement is, because if Fred says, I want to build a big double shed there, oh, Fred, you can't. There's an easement. There's a pipe going right through there. You can't build on that.
Right.
Where instead of saying, oh, look at that space over there, Fred, a great space for a double shed.
Yeah.
You have to know that. So I would have known about the title and finding out if there's any interests, any covenants. A lot in Awakura, at the paddocks, they've got covenants. You can't have cats.
Oh, can you not?
No, you can't have cats.
Really? Oh,
Have a
because
dog.
it's so close to the national park.
Not just the national park, but when they had permission to do the subdivision, part of the deal was that they would create that lake covenanted area, bird sanctuary,
bird sanctuary
thingy.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
So of course you can't have cats.
No.
People do.
Do they?
Yeah, but my job, I'd have to disclose you can't bring Fluffy.
Right. Okay.
So, I need to know these things. I would have to get the property file from council. So most council will have the history of the house from when it was built, all its permits, excuse me, all its certificates, all its compliance. And I would have to read that report and understand it. Because I can't just say there's a report, off you go and read it. I have to say, we do have a report. I need to bring you to the attention of page 10, where it makes reference to the fact that the plumbing wasn't signed off.
Yeah.
Or the gas was connected, but it never had a certificate. So I need to understand that, whereas I don't think they do that in the UK. And I don't know if they do that in the US either. So so the comprehension is huge. And then also, if you're doing a subdivision and you're selling sections, because obviously selling land is then different, you need to know about the Fencing Act. You need to know about getting geotech reports, because you have to make sure that you've got clean fill. If it's had asbestos, if somebody's filled in the land with asbestos from a dodgy building down the street, you need to be able to go into tenanted properties and know whether or not it's a healthy home compliant, whether or not you're recommending clients to have a meth test before they purchase. I don't remember any of that in the UK. That may have changed.
No,
that may have
I
changed,
don't either. I'll tell you what is different here though, Ange, and what you can comment on is, why do they not put the price on the houses? It's changing. I have noticed it's changing, but some houses are advertised and there's no price on it. What's that all about?
Okay, so you can sell houses differently here. You can do a regular tender, a date, closed envelope, opened on the day. You can do auction, sold under the hammer, looking for a cash deal. You can sell by negotiation, price on asking. You can do a deadline sale, best offers in buy, and have like a 4-week campaign. So you can, so if you were coming to the market, the first thing I'd have to do was to give you a market appraisal. Your market appraisal is basically researching sales in the last, I like to do 3 months, because that's qualitative statistics. It's trying to find apples for apples. Well, you know as well as I do, it's not like Coronation Street in the UK where every house looks the same except for the colour of the door.
Yeah.
In New Zealand, trying to find apples for apples is a bloody nightmare.
Yeah.
So what you're looking for is, has it got similar section size? Has it got similar foot plan? Has it got double garaging? What's the cladding? So, and I try to find comparisons that I know have sold that are similar to yours and where you would sit in today's market. Sometimes those comparisons aren't available. Now, I've got a good nose. My gut will generally tell me through my experience where I think it should be in today's market. Bearing in mind the market changes. So what it might have got last year will be different to what it's getting this year. What it got post-COVID as to what it's getting now is very different. So you have to know your market, you need to know your sales stats. So there may not be any sales selling your house, there may not have been any other lifestyles similar to this size, in this similar location, So I have to say to you, look, Lizzie, you know, based on these couple of sales, there was one in Leopardton and there was one in, you know, maybe Hereford, not actually under Owakura sort of realm or Koru realm. I think it's, you know, I believe based on this information, it sits in this, but I'm not confident that that is doing you the best service, because I think your property is superior to those properties. And I think if we sold it at this, we'd be underselling. But I don't know how much more the market will see it than I do. So we can do a 4-week campaign and the market will dictate where we think it sits. Now, a good agent, if Joe Bloggs was coming to the open home and saying, oh, for God's sake, Angie, why don't you just tell me what they want for it? What's the price?
Do you get people saying
that?
that?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, really?
Oh, all the time.
Am I just a pain in the neck saying
Yes.
this?
No,
Okay.
no, you're not.
Okay.
Because it's good. It's education.
Yeah.
And if you've got a good agent, a good communicator, they'll say, I know, Bob, it's a pain in the ass. I'm so sorry. Look, it's difficult for me too. But you know what? My job is to get the vendor the best offer. And to, you know, we don't know where it's going to sit in today's market. It could be at 620. Somebody may see value at 680. Now, I'm not going to turn away a 680 for my client in today's market. So, you know, if the interest is at 680, then that's where we're selling. If the market tells me it's only at 560, then the vendors will decide whether or not they're still selling.
Right.
So it's almost like you're testing the marketplace to see, and then after 4 weeks, if you haven't got any offers, generally, not all agents, generally after 4 weeks, I would then say to the clients, right, we've had 3 open homes. No one's seeing it at 680. Most people are seeing it 590 to 620. Why don't we stick a price on it? Offers over 599.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You know?
And that's what I see quite often now.
Yeah. So we've tested the market. The market, there isn't a buyer that's jumping up and down, has to have it at any price. So let's know we've tested the market and I've got qualitative feedback, because the first thing I do to you coming, I'd ring you and say, thanks for coming. So compared to what else you're looking at, Lizzie, how does it compare?
Right.
And you'd sort of say, oh yeah, it's definitely nicer to the one down Bob Street, but it's not as nice as the one that I fell in love with up at Smith Street.
Yeah.
And where do you see it price-wise compared to those? Well, you know, Smith Street are wanting 7, which is really amazing for that. And I don't see it there. Maybe early 6s, you know? And it's like, oh, that's interesting. Thank you so much. I'll pass that back. And that's information. So if we have 5 buyers that are telling us they see it in the early 6s, we know that that's where the market is.
Right.
And the market is the buyers. Not what I think it's worth, not what the vendor thinks it's worth. It's what somebody's prepared to pay for it.
That's right, yeah.
So we can have all the stats in the world, but ultimately, where those offers come in, you know, will dictate where the market's seeing it.
So what would you say then, because we have people saying this in the community, that they are a little bit embarrassed, they don't want to look like they're cheapskate. They also don't want to go in too high because like, oh my God, what if I say I'll give you 800 and they were only thinking they want 600 for it? So what would you say to someone who is new to the country, they're buying their first home in New Zealand, there isn't a price on the market like you've just said.
Yeah, and they don't know.
And they don't know.
So first of all, you need to talk to the agent. You can, if you don't want to do a face-to-face, the apps online, the websites, there's always a little box that you can say, hey, what's the price talk? They may not be able to give you a price, but you can ask, what's the price indication, or what's the price talk? What range is this falling in? So that the agent isn't feeling like you're pinning them down and saying, but you said, you know, you can give them an indication. So if you were ringing me up and the house was 500 and you'd say, look, Angie, you know, you haven't put a price on this property and I'm really frustrated because I don't know whether or not it's something that I want to commit to if it's not in my ballpark. And it's like, Lizzie, what's your ballpark? Oh, well, I'm at 450. And I know that ideally we're looking for something with a 5 on it. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to say, look, Lizzie, it's probably not in your price range, but I tell you what, I've got an open home on Sunday. If you're out for a drive, come and have a look and see what you'll get if you go up to that next bracket.
Yeah.
And then you can decide whether or not you want to talk to the bank manager and give up a couple of coffees a week or the bottle of wine,
No, see you, Angie.
Yeah, I'm out tag. Yeah, or the holiday to Bali. Yeah. Or you'll recognise where the market is at this level. But I always love it when people ask me these questions, even though sometimes they are a bit arsey about it. It helps me educate them.
Yes.
So, and they'll say, well, why is that so expensive? Because the other one, the other one across the road, and say, well, so if you knew this area well, take Awakura, for instance.
Yeah.
Depending on which side of the road sometimes and what your outlook is, will depend whether or not it's extra $100,000.
Really? Is that right?
Yeah. If you've got a sea view from this side, but there's no sea view from this side, but you've got Kaitaki Ranges, but you haven't got, people will pay extra for the outlook.
Yeah.
And there's some streets that are really, well, they're all popular, but, because it's a beautiful, beautiful place, as we know. We chose it well. But they will, they'll go, oh, let me know if a house on this street comes up.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me know if a house on this street comes up. I will pay extra for that street.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So the market is often different in certain aspects. When we sold in Auckland, we had a house on the North Shore in Auckland. We sold, as it came down, we lost a lot of money when we sold that house. But we were told by a real estate agent, don't worry, you're buying and selling in the same market. So what you've lost here, you will gain down here. We bought in Awakura. So we didn't gain because, there's some areas, whilst the prices may plateau, they don't always plummet.
Yeah.
Whereas in Auckland, they were plummeting at the time.
I want to talk to you about how the market is doing, but before we do that, I just want to go back to open homes.
Yes.
Because open homes are huge in New Zealand, aren't they?
Yes.
What can I expect? I want to ask you two parts of the question. What can I expect from an open home? And if I don't want to come to an open home and I want a private viewing, as is the case in the UK, I mean, that's what...
Yeah.
Can I do that or...
Yep.
You can?
Yep, you can. Mostly. I can't speak for all agents, but mostly. Open homes are twofold. They are convenient for the vendor because it means that they can
only
get the house clean once.
Yeah.
Get the housework done in the morning, get
Yeah.
the kids out to grounds, and nobody touches it for 2 hours. Great. For the agent, we can see who our buyers are. And it's good for other buyers to see who their competition is. If you're selling, it creates that, I've been and conducted my own open homes where people have come in and then, they're already whispering because they like it, but they don't want the others to know. So, because they don't want them talking to the agent before they, and I'll get whispers, I'll call you when we get home.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they know that they're buying in competition. If you're coming to a private viewing, and quite often we do get private viewings, and I'm more than happy to accommodate those, as long as it's convenient for my vendor. Especially Angie, we're down from Auckland for 2 days. We've got 4 houses to look at, but we'd love to look at the one that you've got on Smith Street. Can we get through tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah.
Let me check my vendor, but let's see if we can make that happen for you. The difference is, whilst they get that one-on-one experience, they think they're buying in isolation. They think that they've got the opportunity to negotiate.
Yeah.
From an open home, if it's busy, you can see that there's competition. Unless, of course, everybody's walking in going, and walking out again.
Yeah.
But if you can see this sense of interest, you know that you're going to have to be serious and probably not procrastinate.
Yeah.
But if you're coming to the market as an individual, you have the thought process that you've got the luxury to negotiate.
Yeah, yeah. But that would freak me out though, because if I was going to an open home and I saw everyone else whispering to the vendor, it would make me panic and think, oh, Brian, tell him we'll give him more. Yes.
You answering your own questions here, Lizzie, that's 2.
Oh, that's right, it does it then.
That's to say, it's twofold. It creates the competition, but it's also convenient for the vendor.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And it's good for me because obviously my eyes are on everybody. You an open home, I'm a gatekeeper. So people have to register, obviously security and all those things. We always make sure that, we're not spamming people, and, we're not going to send you awful emails every 5 minutes. We do it simply security, and we always say, would you like us to keep your details on file? Because they might say, oh, Angie, thanks for today, but it's not for us.
Right.
Great. Would you like me to keep your details and let you know if something similar comes up over in Smith Street? Brilliant. Yes, Angie, that's excellent. Thank you. I have your permission to retain your data. But without it, I can't bombard you with other listing information.
I don't know if I ever told you this story. It just reminded me. Jonathan's house down the road. Well, when that was for sale, we just moved to New Zealand, and we were in the area, and we had nothing to do on a Sunday. We didn't even have our money over it. We didn't have anything to spend.
You were renting down on Messenger.
We were renting on Messenger, and because we wanted something to do with the kids on a Sunday, we heard about this open home, right?
You're a tire kicker.
I know. Honestly, there's no stopping me. And I said, we'd go up and look at that hexagonal house. We'll go and have a look round at that. Anyway, we turn up and it's an open home, and there was an agent there, and they said, I think it was a guy, and he said, can I have your phone number? And I was like, and I'm coming from Britain, I was like, why does he want my phone number? So I gave him a fake number, like, this will show
I got
him.
you.
Yeah. And gave him a fake
You'll
number.
be the first.
Yeah, gave him a fake number, looked round the house, let the kids have a run round for a bit. That passed a couple of hours. Right, back home. Anyway, on the Monday, I turn up at the school to get the kids to school, and he's only stood there, and he said to me, you gave me a wrong.
These things happen to you.
It was awful. It was awful. And I started flustering and telling all these lies. I did. And I said, I've got the wrong digit because I've moved to New Zealand. Yeah, it taught me never tell lies, because
I know.
They will change. They will follow you up, like you say, because you want to know how can I help you otherwise?
Exactly. We want to know if you are seriously in the market. If this house isn't for you, I might have something else that isn't on the market yet. It's coming up. Would you like to be on my VIP list?
Yeah.
Because people say to me, Ange, can you, as soon as it goes live, can you let me know? So obviously, it goes out to social media, it goes out to print media, it goes on websites, but I will have a database of buyers that will get a primo notification. Hey, we've just gone live on this property. If you want to see it, you ring me now.
Yeah.
So a lot of my sales are sometimes from my database that they're utilising the facility of being registered, so that they get notifications before instead of having to wait for the newspaper on a Saturday, or waiting for Trade Me to load up, or wait until they get home and check their mobile because they're at work and they never use their mobiles.
So if you're listening to this, don't do what I did and get your name down on the email. So.
I've turned people away.
What do you mean? At open homes?
Open homes, yeah.
Why?
Because they didn't want to give me their information.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So again, gatekeeper, and it's sometimes being in real estate, it's not just putting on your Gucci's and pulling up in your flash car. It's about actually your, as well as the social worker and the marriage guidance, and you're also the gatekeeper. You're also security. So you want to know. I'm not just letting any people rocking on up to your house, going through your house. That there's no way of me identifying them in the same format. And we're not, sometimes it's like, well, just give me a phone number, and I'll write, do not call. They say, don't call me. Okay. I won't call you.
Yeah,
I'll take you, but I need to have this information.
Yeah.
I can remember when I was first training, somebody put down Donald Duck because some agents let people sign themselves in.
Right, okay.
Because they're too embarrassed to ask people for the information. They don't want to have to deal with the conflict.
Yeah.
I get paid to do a job.
Yeah.
So my job is to manage who comes through this house.
What would you do, Ange, if you were doing an open home? And what's the most people you've ever had at an open home?
30, 34, 38.
Wow, really?
So, and that's not people, that's parties. So a party could be one person, a party could be mum, dad, the 3 kids, and grandma and granddad.
So,
and their mates who've come to have a look.
Do you make them stand at the door and wait?
Yes.
Yeah, because I was going to say, how could you possibly, they could be in the bedroom going through your underwear drawer. Yeah. How do you keep your eye on all those people?
So, an element is of trust, and you have to assume that most people that come, even the nosy ones, are there to look at the house. And when there's lots of people, they can't.
I'm making myself sound really
How many drawers have you been rummaging through? Makes a mental note not to invite you down. But so you know, you have to, especially if they're queuing to come in, and it's communication. Thank you so much for your patience, guys. Here's, brochures and information, plenty of information on the kitchen bench. Help yourself. You'll find me here. Shout out if you've got any questions. And as they leave, thank you so much for coming. It was lovely to meet you today. But, it's about that respect and communication and expectation.
Yeah.
So people coming to my open homes probably know what to expect.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love it if I was selling my house and 38 people turned up. I'd be saying to you, oi, never mind what I said about that 600.
7.
Put an extra 200 on it.
And I'd be going, she'd take 200. No, it's, but that doesn't happen. So last weekend I went live on a new property, beautiful property, low maintenance, good size section, good heating, central heating, Lizzie. How often does that happen?
Yeah.
And I had 8 parties through. That's a lot in this current market.
Right.
If you get 2 to 4, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
But speaking to a lot of agents, some of them, it's quite dead at open homes at the moment.
Really?
And certain price brackets.
So disheartening, isn't it? So let's just talk about the market. First of all, what we're in 2025. What season are we in? Autumn 2025.
Autumn. Yeah.
Are we in autumn? We are, aren't we?
Yep. Yeah.
Who am I again? Where's the knicker drawer?
Sign here, madam.
So what's the market doing?
So we're quietly optimistic at the moment. It's although Mr. Trump has sort of put a scupper on kiwi saver funds, obviously the investment stocks, etc. Slightly political, sorry about that, but so the first time buyers using their kiwi savers are having to rethink. It's not completely put a kibosh on everything, but obviously depending where their investments have been in the kiwi saver may change at what level they're able to purchase. But the OCR drops, we've had a couple of OCR drops.
What's
have been,
OCR?
So the cash rates. So the banks have been, you've noticed the cash rates, interest rates have been coming down.
Yes.
So last year when things were really, really tough, interest rates, I think some of them began with a 7. I think some were getting to an 8. So it was quite a lot for the prices. You think first-time buyers are up to 500,000. First-time buyers. So who need minimum 20% deposit. Investors have started coming back. So the new colour at Parliament last year, we went back to blue from red. The first thing they did was change the bright line test, which was the investors test that went up to 10 years. If you were buying for an investment property, if you sold it before 10 years, you would have to pay tax and
Capital gains tax,
those kind of things. So they brought that back to 2 years. So investors are back. First time buyers are back because the interest rates have been coming down. So they're at that first tier level. What that does is allow this person to go to the next level, which releases the person at this level to. So we've had some movement, whereas the properties, say between a 550, 600 to an 850, have been probably the longest to sell because that's the aspirational purchase, right? That's the second or third tier on the ladder.
Yeah.
And that's Mr. and Mrs., both professionals working, both cars, Bob and Ginny at school, maybe little Bob's going to get his first car. Maybe they borrowed extra money to do the conservatory or to do the double glazing. So their mortgage is already hunk. When the interest rate's going up to 7-8%, that's putting huge pressure on their income. The cost of living's gone up. So they couldn't afford to sell to go to $1 million because the interest rates were too high. But what's happening now, the interest rates are coming back down. It's releasing everybody to do those moves again.
Move up the ladder, as it were.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's what I do on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I'm not a statistician. I'm not a banker that's got his finger on the post. I can only say what I see.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's been, where they've been sitting. But they're starting to move now. The people are in the 600s and the 800s. They're still looking.
Yeah.
People generally in the $1 million will always have $1 million.
Yeah.
That's generally you'll find that people probably have the equity to use at that level, or have been in their property a long time, so they have equity. But for people moving over that are considering all of this, it's a huge subject, and I'm gabbling on, and
No, you're not.
so
You're
much
perfect.
information. But speak to a professional. Your gut will tell you, hopefully, that you're dealing with somebody that you can take seriously and trust. If not, speak to your lawyer, get a referral. Speak to your bank manager, get a referral, and research them. Check them up on LinkedIn, check them out on their websites, have a look, go along to one of their open homes, you know, check them out and then seek advice. And, you know, because everyone's an expert, right? Especially your mates in the pub. Everybody thinks they know everything about real estate. It's the same with the law. Everybody knows the law. But there's a lot more to it than just arguing over a price. And there's a lot more to it that you need to have your eyes wide open to make informed choices, because it can be costly if you don't.
Do you know, Angie, I really appreciate your openness, and you know, you've educated me so much. I can't believe we've been
you're not
friends.
doing deals anymore.
I know. I can't believe that we've been friends all this time, and I've never really asked you about what you do. You know, I just think, oh, you sell
Just drive
homes.
around, just drinking coffee.
You always seem to have all this time on your hands, Ange.
I make
And you
it
buy
look
me
easy,
the
mate.
Best wine. Yeah, you do make it look easy. And I can see why that woman said to you right at the beginning, you've got something really, really special.
No.
And I'm not just saying this because we're friends. I've had you over here so many times, and you've got a bouquet of flowers in the back of the car, or a bottle of champagne, and I'm like, what's that for? Oh, that's for the vendor. Oh, that's for the buyer. That you don't have to do that.
No.
You don't have to go that extra mile for people.
But
and that's why you are special.
Yeah, it's relationships though,
Yeah.
Lizzie. You know, it's real estate is people. You know, real estate is people. You're dealing with people. You're dealing with people's emotions, and a lot of my friends that I know, I've actually got friends with them because of real estate.
Right.
I've either sold their house for them, or they've bought a house through me, or and it's about people.
You
And-
know everyone.
No, I don't.
You do.
I'm anonymous.
You're not. And before we go, because I want to know all the details who you work in and what your company and everything like that. But are you respected? Are agents respected? Real estate agents respected in New Zealand?
I think it's changed a lot. I think tongue-in-cheek, there was always that, oh, bloody real estate, bloody sharks. I think there was always a reputation, because unfortunately, like any profession, there's always a few bad apples that ruin it for everyone. But because the profession has become so stringent now, because the education and the qualification and the ongoing training, so we are obliged to do a minimum of 10 years continuous training. 10 years, 10 hours, God, 10 years, well, I've done 14 tick.
You're there, Ange.
I'm there. 10 hours a year for your CPD, and you also have to do 10 hours with a qualified entity of to go do ongoing training too. So you have to do a minimum 20 hours a year.
Right.
So, and during that time, you will learn things like case law. Like you'll say, okay, that case came up because somebody didn't disclose that there was Duck's Quest. And some agents will go, what's Duck's Quest? And that's when you've got to worry.
What is Duck's Quest?
Duck's Quest was, Brian, no, it was a plumbing material that was used. They thought it was the answer to everything. It was a black tubing that was used. They thought it was wonderful. And then what they didn't realise is that it hadn't been tested for over a significant period of time. Over a significant period of time, it starts to wear. And at the joins and pressure points, it starts to pop. And once it pops, it don't stop. So people are wondering why they were having leaks in the laundry, why they're having leaks under the sink. So, and it's very expensive to rip open your house and have all this stuff taken out and replumbed. So it's a disclosure. But you need to know about it to disclose it.
Yeah.
But you need to know it exists to ask the question. You know, what is your plumbing? And when clients say to me, Angie, I'm looking at open home on Sunday, I'm a little bit nervous. What should I be looking for? You take your shoes and socks off, especially in the winter. You walk around the windows, make sure it's not damp underfoot. You look under the sink. You look in the hot tank. You know, if it's got a tank, if it hasn't got infinity. You have a look at the plumbing. You look for all the areas that you know might have a red flag. Don't let your heart go,
put the Christmas tree there.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that lovely bay.
Look at that, exactly. Got a bull nose on that. You be practical.
Yeah.
Because you don't want a money pit.
Yeah. No one wants a money pit.
Nobody wants a money pit. But speak to professionals and get a gut feeling. Get good information and ask questions. If you're not asking questions, you're not educating yourself on one of the biggest things you're going to do in New Zealand.
And it's such a big investment, isn't it?
Huge.
So do you look after the whole of this, like New Plymouth? Yeah. I know you're based in Howard, aren't you? So
I'm with my partner in Howard, but I've still got my property in Owakura, and my daughter and my grandchildren are here in Owakura. I can list and sell anywhere.
Right, okay. What, in the country or?
Oh, no, in Taranaki. In Taranaki,
yes.
yeah. So whether it's Bell Block, Lepperton, Pattaya, Waverley, I've sold land in the middle of nowhere. I sold beachfront multi-million dollars. I love it all. It's all exciting.
I can see you light up when you talk about it.
I do love it.
We were talking earlier about going through the questions that we would cover, and you just said, "Do you know what, Lizzie? Ask me anything. I'm so passionate about this."
Yeah, it's true.
And you can see that in you.
Yeah, it's quite sad, really. Isn't
No,
it?
it's not sad. It's really it's lovely, and I really appreciate it. And I'm going to say this, and it's hard for me to admit this, but I've been on this channel before saying, "Oh, I don't know, agents. I think they
I've seen it.
money." Sorry. Sorry, please forgive me. Because, Angie, I didn't know. I wasn't educated. And to be honest, I didn't know that you did all that stuff. I thought you just,
Swanned up.
Well, yeah.
And said, don't look in the knicker drawer.
Yeah, exactly.
How much are you going to offer me?
Exactly.
Make it 200 less.
So I'm being honest here. I really
Have I
appreciate
educated you?
You have.
Excellent.
You haven't.
Just be aware, though, not all agents are born the same.
Are they not?
No.
Are there some cowboys?
I don't. Cowboy is a big word, and it's not. But I would say, maybe the level of service is not all the same.
No, true.
Okay,
true.
I'm not going to slander or because I love this profession.
Oh, come on, Ange, give us some. Tell us who the cowboys are,
But so all I would say is, I stick in my lane and I do my thing, and I know the product that I deliver.
Yeah.
And I have a high expectation of myself. Not all agents will deliver the same that I do, but maybe they will do something different. Maybe they will do something better.
No one's going to be as good as you.
Oh, you have to say that.
No, I don't.
But there will be, some of the youngsters, like marketing, that's a whole different thing. Marketing is huge. In this day and age, you have to invest in marketing. Buyers won't understand this, but sellers, buyers will, because that's how you're finding it. So, social media is massive. Internet exposure is huge. Print media is still available. A lot of people still do like print media, but internet, the firm that I'm with, Smith Bishop, we had some of the highest hits on our Instagram and feeds in March. 18,000 in 1 week, I think.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Just huge.
Yeah.
But so you're always looking at different content of how you can utilise and maximise and do the best for your vendor.
Yeah.
How can I show this?
Yeah.
Other than just, here is the house. It isn't two-dimensional. A house is a four-dimensional thing that people will walk through the door and either love, or they'll walk through the door and go, or they'll spend 45 minutes of my time and go, I don't like it. But they knew that the first minute they walked in the door. But, so marketing is another thing, and that's an investment, and that's what vendors need to get their heads around. An average marketing plan for my clients is probably somewhere between 3,200 and 4 or 5 grand.
Right.
Depending on the house and the location and where we're pushing it.
Yeah.
And that, that is a cost to the vendor.
Yeah.
But
if it's going to sell your house,
it's an investment.
Yeah.
And that's how you've got to think.
Yeah.
It is an investment.
Do you know what, Angie, I was just thinking as you were talking, I thought you would be absolutely brilliant on TikTok or like Instagram Reels, you know, where you just give advice, exactly like you're doing now, answering people's questions about real estate. Because That's what people don't know. I didn't know.
Well, I am on Instagram, Angie Cook Smith Bishop.
Yep.
But if you did want to message me and ask me questions, I'm more than happy.
Yes.
Honestly.
And she's not just saying that.
No,
I know you.
Yeah.
I've known you for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And this woman is who she says she is.
Yeah, so if you do have any questions, I can sit and film myself while I'm out in the paddock, or, you know, if you don't mind my dogs, I can talk to you while I'm doing my other jobs, and we can answer any questions, because it's a massive subject.
So how do people get hold of you?
So, website, Smith Bishop website, or Angie Cook at Smith Bishop at Facebook, or Angie Cook on Instagram, or even my mobile number. Do we put mobile numbers?
No, we're not putting your mobile number on YouTube. Get lost. You'll have a load of weirdos contacting you.
Weirdos.
Weirdos, stay away.
Exactly.
Only nice
No
people
weirdos.
can be friends with my friend.
Yes. Although you'd be surprised what I deal with.
Well, that's another podcast.
Yeah, that's another one.
We'll put all your details, your how you get hold of Angie, her email,
lovely.
a company number and everything. And I tell you, if you are moving to Taranaki, this is the woman for you.
Thank you,
It really
Lizzie.
is.
That's kind of you.
And thank you for being so patient and gracious, and not being that friend that said to me, I hear what you've been saying.
No, I laughed. I didn't take it personally, because I knew you weren't talking about me, Lizzie.
No, I wasn't talking about you. I was not talking about you. Quite right. And
No, thank you. I've had a lovely time. Cup of tea.
It's lovely, isn't
Sitting
it?
outside, 20 degrees, you know.
I know. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Ange.
No, it's been great. I loved it.
Thank you so much for joining me and for sharing your knowledge.
Oh, thank you.
Right, let's go and open that wine now, Ange.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
It's lunchtime.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, thanks, Lizzie. That was fun.
That was too easy. That's just like
chatting.
Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast this week. We have loved having you here with us.
If you love this week's show, please share this with your friends. Send it to anybody you know that wants to think about moving to New Zealand, and get on over here yourself.
And tell them how brilliant it is as well. And also, if you haven't signed up for our free 5-day video guide showing you what life is like, really like, in New Zealand, then go over to the website and sign up. You are missing out. This is brilliant. Go over to www.nzahead/free, and we will send you 5 days worth of videos about what life is like in New Zealand. You are going to love it. So one more time, that website that you need to sign up for the free 5-day guide is www.nzahead/free. So we're going to see you next week. Until then, have a great week, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye, girl. Bye.
Bye.